my son. I call him Buster. Buster Rhymes.
Buster Nut.
He's all catches
that's
bullets
his brother.
with his teeth. Let's fucking dissect this motherfucker up. Let's like beat it up like a
dirty pussy. So right, I don't mind the dirty pussy.
I don't mind it.
I don't mind, Frank. If you want to go over there to Charlie's and get some dinner, I'll get some dinner.
Some dirty pussy, didn't till the morning light.
You guys are doing a great job. So, okay. So this is...
This will be our intro. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. We're back.
The Last Dragon. Drop Culture Podcast.
So we're gonna do a podcast here tonight on the Drop Culture Podcast.
So what's up, everybody?
What's up, y'all?
What's up?
Sho'nuff.
So if you don't know who Sho'nuff is,
Who's the master?
Sho'nuff.
You need to get out there and get yourself a copy somehow online in a store. Watch Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon, or just known as The Last Dragon. Guys, welcome to the Drop Culture Podcast. Brock, Dan, how you doing tonight?
Do you hear that?
Yeah, I do, and it's making me feel good.
Wait. That's all you get. That's all you get. Because it's from this movie. Barry Gordy's Last Dragon.
You got to get out there.
Came out March 22nd, 1985. What a hell of a fucking bad movie. From beginning to end. I mean, it's my impression of this movie. It's a classic to me because I grew up with it.
Sure.
Well, my question is, who financed this, and who? They're clearly all doing cocaine.
Okay, so first off, Barry Gordy.
Barry Gordy.
Right.
Founder of Motown.
Founder of Motown Records. Has several bazillion children. One out of wedlock with Diana Ross.
Ooh.
He actually, of course, being the founder of Motown.
Hitsville, USA.
Yeah, you can name all the bands that came through there, you know.
Do you want to?
Yeah, no.
Because they're still making records.
But, so he, first of all, he was a songwriter and invested that money into making that, making Motown, basically. There's more of a process to that. I'm gliding through some things.
Yeah, he put
Right,
together
we're
one of the baddest-ass backup bands in the history of anything, the Funk Brothers.
Right.
To kind of record on everything.
Absolutely.
Which they were awesome. Keep going.
But at one point, he moves out of Detroit to L.A., and he
'Cause
decides he's
Hollywood.
making movies.
Yeah.
And, it was, I guess, cool because there was a lot of folks that were on set a lot. A lot of famous folks that were on set often.
Imagine, imagine being there at that time in 1985, probably 84, when they were really doing a lot of the filming.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was huge.
Just a real odd fact here. I think it's his youngest son. I could be wrong on that. Is half of LMFAO that did Party Rockin'
No
in the
way.
House Tonight. Yeah,
No way.
That's wacky fact I found out. So there you go for that.
In that research, in our Google fooing in there.
Yeah,
you could tell that he must have really liked kung fu movies because he's like, hey, I'm going to make a kung fu movie.
But just imagine, dude. Imagine, 1984, Bruce Lee had been huge in the late 70s, mid to late 70s in America.
Right.
He died. There had to be something to carry it on, and it was in the lexicon of New York City was kung fu.
Well, and there was interest in the African American community in those kung fu movies.
Yes.
Which there is for everybody, or not but specifically quite popular.
Black Belt Jones is a perfect example.
Absolutely.
Crazy movie.
I would say even Dolomite.
Any of those movies that blaxploitation really took a lot of kung fu stuff.
Right.
And this was like epic, like we were talking. This is epic blaxploitation almost in a way.
And I think that this has good points. You know what I mean? I see the story, the flow. The action's actually pretty good. It's
It was
just
very
really
well
shot.
choreographed.
The
Yeah.
action's not bad.
So we'll get into that because Tymok, the guy that plays Leroy Green, or Bruce Leroy, as
Bruce
he's called
Leroy.
by the folks in the streets.
Yep. In the main character of the movie.
Absolutely.
Catches bullets with
this
his
guy
teeth.
was a legitimate badass.
Yeah, he was.
He was a black belt in Jeet Kune Do, Wing Chun, and like 3 or 4 other
What I
martial
got?
arts.
He's got he trained Madonna at one point. He was kind of a pretty famous trainer after the fact.
5 martial arts.
It should be noted, though, this was his first acting role.
So
correct?
this
very
is
first one.
obviously in this he's pretty young.
Here's his black belts.
Okay.
Goju Ryu Karate, Jeet Kune Do, Wing Chun, Hapkido, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and Taekwondo. I mean, that's a lot to hold.
Legitimate badass.
Yeah.
He's no Steven Seagal, but you know.
Cue Russian music.
Yeah, so he was a legitimate badass. So he already knew the martial arts, and actually, this role almost went to a guy called Billy Blanks.
Yes, Taibo,
who is of Taibo fitness fame,
really?
and also B movies. He's been in a couple B movies.
Wow.
he was the original choice for it.
was.
And then they had I can't even say it. Timek.
Timek. I don't
yeah,
know. Timek.
yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a mock, maybe.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know. Timok.
He came in for multiple readings, and then they decided to pick him because he was more way behind the years, I guess.
Well, not only that, but that his personality was very reserved, like the characters
Like
is.
Shy, yeah, very
And
shy.
there are some pieces of this that I read a little deeper into, and we'll talk about that when we get into the meat of everything. But yeah, so I just wanted to share that. That's why I think the martial arts were so good. Now, on the other hand,
His trainer was a badass.
yeah, he was, and
Yes.
he's been in a few things as
Yeah.
well.
He did a lot of training for a lot of different people, and he did some of the fight scenes in this.
Yeah,
He choreographed
was
most
it
of
Van?
them. Yeah, Van Cleef.
Cleef, yeah.
Cleef.
And I always think of Van Cleef from the old westerns, but then
Right.
I'm like, no, that wasn't
Not the
him.
same guy.
Yeah, no. Yeah, he was a legitimate badass too to train. A lot of
Absolutely.
that stuff. I mean,
So this dude's like a real badass, but also super reserved and kind of shy.
Right, because you can. Now, if you started off this by saying this is one of the a good bad movie, I guess.
yes,
And I just wanted to point out that it's kind of like it's like a cartoon. It has a very odd tone.
It does.
And the main guy, Taimik.
Yeah, we'll just call him Leroy Green.
Leroy
Bruce
Green.
or Bruce
Bruce
Leroy,
Leroy.
whatever
Bruce
works
Leroy.
for you.
Yeah.
It's clearly his first movie.
yeah. Oh,
It's
yeah.
actually
Yeah.
one of his few movies. They brought him back to sign him for 2 more movies,
Okay.
and offered him, I think it was like $60,000 for the second one and $100,000 for the third one. And his lawyer's like, you're not going to get any percentage if it's like a big movie,
He was
based on
here-
this deal.
Yeah.
And I guess that was the first time that Barry Gordy hadn't met with him. Like they were really close. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And he sent some officer of the company to
To
go
go
meet
talk
with
to
it.
him.
Oh, so he sent a suit
And
and
then
not
I guess
himself.
that female kind of blasted him a little bit and said he wasn't worth the contract they were signing and all this stuff.
What?
But
blew
they
the
also
deal.
have him in. Well, it was a pretty crappy deal too.
Well, sure, but
yeah.
he sent a suit
and
and
I
she
think
blew the deal.
and I want to say
supposedly.
that this movie made $25 million.
Yeah, no, it was a $10 million budget, and it made 25.7 domestically.
Right.
So it made its money back.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then it still retained cult status too, because so many people. The influence is there. Busta Rhymes, of course. Sho'nuff is a huge influence. Just the whole, that culture was really big in that time, and it still is.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think what's his name that did the Man with the Iron Fist, kind of really loved this movie from the Wu-Tang.
Sure.
They really liked this movie because that was the time that they were making music. Why
Absolutely.
not have a kung fu movie based in fucking New York?
Absolutely.
Well, and back to Bruce Lee, they actually have footage of that film. And
Oh, yeah.
Well, often, yeah.
Several.
Yeah.
That's where the initial idea came from what I read, is the guy that wrote the movie. His name is, let me see here. I got it by Louis Venosta. He wrote a lot of different things, but he went to a showing of one of Bruce Lee's movies in like one of the small cinemas, and the way he describes it, it was just like what was in the movie. People were going crazy in the aisles. People were loving it. It was just a really big part of the culture at that point.
Yeah.
And just like we were talking about earlier too, a little bit with the Kung Fu comics that they had for Marvel,
Right.
Iron Fist, and Legend of the Kung Fu. That was really big at that time.
Right,
you
so
know?
you have people who are able to watch these reruns of kung fu movies in the theaters or on TV, and then you have...
And that would just be a regular day in the city.
For sure. And
Yeah,
then
like
you
it was
got,
always running.
yeah, and then you got the comics and stuff too, and yeah. We're going to pause here for a sec, I think.
Mitch, cut this out.
Mitch, cut this out, I guess.
Motherfucker, die. Die, motherfucker.
Gotta kill bugs when I see
The queen. No.
Die,
queen
bitch.
is gone.
I know.
Okay, so back to it.
Back
Yeah,
to the
so
lecture at hand.
Back to, I mean, they had he wrote
yeah.
this script, kind of had a good time, and he really hasn't done two huge things. The one that I was notable for me was Bird on a Wire. He wrote that movie
Right.
too. He did a lot of writing for everything, just like
Mel Gibson?
Well, I think that,
Goldie Hawn.
he originally had written this for theater, is what I had read, and it was his girlfriend, wife, significant other.
Yeah, this is
that,
not a
like,
TV show. This is a movie.
Yeah. Was it a TV show that he wanted to do?
Yeah. I think,
okay.
It was the beginnings of a TV show, and he was like, no.
And we'll get to that era of TV shows because there's some stuff that comes out of this that are, I guess, cultural phenomena at the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Let's go.
I mean, the director was Michael Schultz, and he directed a lot of really big movies at that time too. Coolie High, Car Wash, Crush Groove.
Yep.
Ooh, you hear that thunder?
Shaka bra.
Dang. And
If you can hear that out there,
it was-
thundering.
And well, I mean, those movies are pretty prolific. Prolific.
Well, and they're prevalent of their time.
Yes.
You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? They're
Especially Crush Groove. Whose
Yeah.
house
cru-
runs house?
That's right.
Shaka bra.
But he still has gone on to direct a lot of things. He directed a couple of episodes of Arrow.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah,
that.
which is
so
kinda
he's
crazy, too,
Out there
yeah.
working. Yeah, cool.
The producers are now, besides Barry Gordy, there was Rupert Hitzig. He did like Jaws 3D. There was Joseph Caracchillo or something like that. Did My Blue Heaven, Biloxi Blues. Kind of some notable things with those. I mean, those are movies that were pretty big at the time too. So everybody got pretty good work out of it. But most of these people actually ended up on TV.
Yeah.
You know, which was kind of the crazy part. There's a Barton Fink, connection in this too.
Oh yeah, what's that?
One of the actors. Let's get into the actors.
Oh, Mike Starr.
No, Mike Starr was in. He was on a lot of different
He
things
was in
too.
Miller's Crossing.
Yeah. But it was. Of course, we already talked about Leroy Green. He didn't really do much afterwards. He was in Colorado Springs about 2 years ago at
Yeah.
the Comic-Con,
There you go.
which he was there with Flash Gordon, which
Makes
is pretty
sense.
cool.
Yeah.
We occupied the same space at one point. Yes.
Sho'nuff, unfortunately, will not be there because he has
No,
passed.
He has passed away.
Yeah.
Julius J. Carey III was Sho'nuff, and he didn't. The thing was, he'd never trained in martial arts
So-
until this movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Tymek had actually mentioned that, that I was listening to an interview, and he had said that he would always be that character, though, and he would, push him, even
Yeah.
offset or,
Sho'nuff.
And he's like, until I'd go after him, and then he'd run.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah. Well, he was
That's
6'5". I mean,
Yeah.
the dude was a massive, massive dude.
And I'll actually say he does some of the best acting in this.
Yes.
He is his part.
Yeah, 100%. Like over the top.
Yeah,
fucking
exactly
just
what he's
like his
supposed to be.
character.
And he originally, so since we're on the subject of Sho'nuff,
Yeah,
For show.
the Shogun of Harlem.
he's Shogun of Harlem.
So his look, with the big shoulder pads and all that, the writer even said, I never envisioned him like that. And
No.
I guess, Like there was like a real quick thing that happened with the
set director
It's
was
clearly just
And
football pads with like a sheet put over
Well,
it.
it's like at one scene you notice it. It looks like he's got helmets on his shoulders, like soft helmets for like sparring and shit like that.
Sure.
Whenever they're doing like a battle scene,
Right.
But yeah, the guy that did the set direction and did most of the costumes was a Broadway guy.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he did most of those, and when they came out, they were like, "Oh, okay, well that makes sense."
Yeah.
Those look really
Hike.
good because the rest of it was just normal. And then Sho'nuff and his gang